It's another cold day in Madison as we bring in day 2 of our championship coverage here on Valley Sports Wisconsin. Yesterday, we crowned 4 champions, and today, 3 more teams will add their names to the record books as we put a cherry on top of another season on the gridiron. From Barry Alvarez Field at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison, it's the 46th WIAA Football State Championships, where today, in the first of our 3 finals, it's a Division III showdown with undefeated Monroe and 12-1 West Salem. Hello and welcome to the broadcast. I'm Shane Sparks alongside Hall of Fame coach Al Minert. Day 2, top 3 divisions. What are some of the differences we'll see today in Camp Randall?
Well, first of all, the big boys roll into town, and I mean bigger crowds, bigger rosters, bigger men in the line of scrimmage. And so you're going to see a great atmosphere generated as we move through the day.
What an intriguing matchup we have this morning. You have Monroe. They average over 400 yards of rushing a game. On the other side, West Salem, they have not given up over 14 points. What gives?
Well, you know, and that's something interesting. The Monroe quarterback's only thrown 26 passes in 13 games. Their way is through the ground. And so West Salem having to hold up against that is going to be a very interesting matchup, along with West Salem is a very balanced, diversified attack. And another thing to keep your eye on is the kicking game. They've returned 2 punts for touchdowns and 2 kickoffs for touchdowns. So, you know, they have to stop the run first, but also get settled into their balanced attack.
Special teams always critical in these championship finals. Let's send it to the booth. The guys that'll call it, Jay Wilson and Bill Brophy.
Shane, thanks very much. Well, Bro, those of us who are a little long in the tooth remember the golden days of high school football for Monroe. The Cheesemakers were the gold standard in the late 80s and early 90s under head coach Pat Martin. It's kind of nice to see the Cheesemakers back on top again here.
Yeah, old school guys appreciate the fact Monroe's here. Same type of team. They run the football a lot. It used to be as common Monroe being at Camp Randall in November is a cold night and a cold day. And anyway, it's good to see them. They're going to face a team, West Salem, that's lived off the takeaway this year.
Well, we've seen some great two-way players, offense and defense here yesterday in the 4 championship games. We're going to see some more of those kind of players today. First for West Salem, let's take a look at Luke Knoll.
Well, he's an all-state player, both as a linebacker and a fullback. He's rushed for over 1,100 yards. He's also a key to West Salem's defense. I alluded to the fact they live off the takeaway. They're plus 29 in takeaways this year. They're going to have to do that against a Monroe team that likes to run the football behind that guy, Isaac Bunker. He's an all-stater, the lineman of the year, the Joe Thomas Award winner. They rushed for over 5,000 yards, as Al alluded to. They got 3 guys that have rushed for over 800 yards. A lot of them come behind big old 64, who's going to the Naval Academy, and he's a horse.
Boy, he's a large fella, isn't he? Well, I can't wait to get started. Division III championship, the first of 3 today here at Camp Randall Stadium. West Salem at 12-1, Monroe at 13-0. Kickoff coming up on Valley Sports Wisconsin.
The 2022 WIAA State Football Championships are brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. And by the Wisconsin DOT. Buckle up, phone down, every trip, every time. Time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by the Wisconsin DOT, who remind you, buckle up, phone down, every trip, every time. Bro, you've been nailing them pretty well this week. What do you got for Monroe and West Salem?
Well, West Salem likes to talk about Takeaway Tuesday at practice. They hope that converts to Takeaway Friday. On the year, the Panthers have had 25 interceptions, 2 pick-sixes. They've forced 11 fumbles. 3 went for touchdowns. They hope that trend continues to get today. Ball security is going to be a key as Monroe's going to run behind big Isaac Bunker. We talked about him at the top. They like to run. There are 4 games this year, but that Monroe did not throw a pass. So if you like the run game, you're going to love our Division III final. Good morning to all throughout the state.
It'll be Monroe kicking off. They won the toss, deferred to the second half. West Salem will receive, and George Bruckwicki gets it in the air, and it bounds around the 15-yard line. Here's the return for Chris Calico for West Salem. He's going to try to get to the left side and gets out close to the 30-yard line before he's ridden down by 47, Seth Schmidt.
Look at it, Brent Kennedy. But Brennan had a little trouble picking up the football, but he made something out of nothing and got the ball at the 28. But we're going to see West Salem's offense take over.
And the quarterback is Brent McConkey. 1,753 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and the guy that will tote it the most is Luke Knoll, number 20. McConkey to throw and tipped at the line. That was Tucker Markham. Got his hands up in the air and deflected it.
Yeah, we talked so much about Monroe's run-oriented offense. Defensively, they've been pretty good. Allowed but 6.8 points per game. There are the keys for West Salem. Jay told you about McConkey. We talked about Noah in the open. You saw Kennedy return the opening kickoff. Those are the three guys that make West Salem run, and they do pretty well offensively, averaging 36 points a game.
2nd and 10 on the incompletion. Here's Knoll's first carry. Breaks a couple of tackles and lost the football, and Monroe pounces on it. Knoll was separated from the pigskin, and there's 71. Sean Roofnock with the recovery.
So first break of the day belongs to Monroe. Again, it is a cold day. This is just a big hit, and they stripped the ball from the running back. Looks like Caden Keister makes the play. It caused the fumble. Or Kooster, excuse me.
Yeah, Caden Kooster with the separation, and then Roofnock with the recovery. So here comes the Monroe offense. Hey, they're going to run it. What do you think about that? Keaton Sweeney gets the first carry.
And he's the best of Monroe's backs, at least yardage-wise, has gone for 13-21 on the year. But they've got a lot of, well, there's Monroe's key defensive players. But Alex Hernandez, Keaton Sweeney, and Kooser all have rushed for over 828 yards. Their quarterback is George Brickwicki, who's only thrown 26 passes all season.
On the ground again, and that's Sweeney again, but nothing doing on that carry as the West Salem defense rises up. I see 50 Connor Barr. Jesse Logging also there. There you see the West Salem key defenders.
And again, Noel is the guy that Jay's going to call a lot of today, All-Stater, their leading tackler. McConkey and Kennedy go both ways.
Well, you talked about turnover Tuesday and turnover Friday for West Salem, but that bit the Panthers on the opening drive. Running play, running room for the big fella. That's Alex Hernandez, just short of the 20.
Hernandez is their leading rusher. He's gone for now over 1,500 yards this year after this carry. Then goes right up the middle and gets the first down from Monroe.
Hernandez listed at 6 feet, 234 pounds. He is a load. Monroe will shift. 2 backs behind Brickwicki. Now they put one in motion. Hernandez gets it again. He slips to the 19.
There was Noel making the tackle on the big fullback. Monroe runs that triple option to, I want to say perfection, but they're awfully good at it.
Monroe averaging almost 44 points a game on offense. They've rushed for over 5,000 yards on the season. So they spotted back at the 20 now. 2nd and 7, Cheesemakers. Pre-snap flag. Procedure against Monroe. This is Monroe's 9th trip to state.
Prior to the snap, 5 yards, false start on the offense. Still 2nd down.
That was our referee, Patrick O'Brien from Madison. The umpire is Nicholas Neds from Deerfield. Nathan Ranget, linesman from Fort Atkinson. Eric Chartre is the line judge from Deerfield, and Gerald Lang, the back judge from Verona. So a Madison area crew working this one in the Division III final.
2nd and 12 for Summers. A passing down. Don't expect it to be for Monroe.
Oh, it might surprise you. Nope. Tucker Markham to the outside. Markham to the 10. That's going to be a Monroe first down.
Under the penalty backs Monroe up into an uncomfortable situation, but they just do what they do best. Let's run the football, and there's Markham, one of their captains.
I don't know if you saw that, but 64 Bunker, the guy we highlighted, he just absolutely pushed somebody out of the way. I mean, that guy makes some holes. 64 for Monroe.
Bunker is 6'5", 288. She alluded to his size in the open.
This time they go the other side, and up the middle they go, and that's Sweeney who's just falling short of the goal line. The ball came loose, and it's a fumble recovered by West Salem.
It is takeaway Friday for West Salem. A very fortuitous turn of events. All turnovers are reviewed here, but this one looked like Monroe could get the first score of the game when he gets to the one and coughs up the football.
Oh, that's out. And 14 on the recovery. That's the quarterback, Brett McConkey, making a play on defense.
Again, West Salem prides itself on takeaways. That's their 12th forced fumble this season. A big play early in this Division III final.
Used to announce basketball games with a guy named Bill Groff, who was the head coach of Brookfield Central for a long time. He'd call this a Betty Crocker game. Lots of turnovers. Now backed up against the goal line. Let's see if West Salem can get out of trouble. Well, not much that time, as Noel got maybe a yard. Out to the 2.
Obviously, West Salem's going to be conservative in their play calls here. They want to give the quarterback little room to operate and would prefer not to be punting out of their own end zone.
This is West Salem's 4th trip to the state football finals. The other trips were between 2002 and 2007. They won the state football championship in 2007. There's McConkey trying to get out of this deep hole after the turnover. McConkey to throw out of the end zone. And intercepted! Another turnover! That's Charlie Weigel with the pick. Bro, what is going on here?
Well, McConkey had time, but a nice play by Weigel. And Monroe's in business again. As Bill Groff was talking about a Betty Crocker game? He may be onto something here. Pass was intended for Johnson, but Weigel read the play perfectly, stepped in front of the intended receiver, and Monroe's got the ball inside the 10.
Boy, Weigel was right in the line there. I don't know if the wind might have dipped the pass a little early, but it's another interception turnover. Now here's another run by Sweeney, and it's a touchdown. Well, that time Sweeney held onto the ball, and he made it into the end zone, and the Cheesemakers go ahead 6-0.
That didn't take long after the interception. Sweeney was going to give it a second chance, and he wasn't going to be taken out of the end zone. And Bunker leading the way and drags 2 defenders into the end zone. Monroe with the early lead.
They pulled Bunker, number 64, and he helped make the path for Sweeney. And it's a touchdown. Extra point attempt coming. And this is Wes Saunders, excuse me. And Saunders' extra point is good. 7-0 Monroe as they capitalize on the turnover deep in the West Salem end. Keaton Sweeney carries it in from 10 yards, and Monroe leads early. Last night, the Division IV final, Catholic Memorial in Columbus. That was Corbin Hines, a 31-yard field goal with 4:24 left in regulation. Columbus finished an undefeated season, 14-0, 23-21. They knocked off the Catholic Memorial Crusaders.
Some would call that an upset, but boy, Columbus had a nice team. And Colton Brunell with 191 yards rushing last night, and obviously that game played in what turned out to be a snowstorm. Strange weather day here yesterday. I think it was the 3rd swale of snow we had seen. That was made for a pretty surrounding, and Columbus fans will never forget it. I'll never forget the night Kimberly and Era had played in the snow in Division I a few years back.
There's the kick, and boy, I think Monroe was looking for another turnover. That was a kick return by Trevor Arntz for West Salem. And he gets it past the 35-yard line.
And our friend Coach Minard talked yesterday about teams having to settle in. With all the turnovers we had, I don't know, West Salem feels they've settled in this D3 championship yet. The fumble on their first drive and interception on their second drive. See what they do here in their third possession.
First 4 possessions, we've had 3 turnovers and a touchdown. So here's West Salem. This is a run that's not going to net much. On the carry was Chris Calico. On the tackle was Tucker Markham. Well, the sun is out, but don't be fooled. It's 23 degrees. It feels like 11. The wind is out of the west at 14 miles an hour.
I mean, I think that's what's going to be a factor today is the wind affecting perhaps both the passing and kicking games. Not sure if McConkey can blame the wind for the interception, but he's only had 7 interceptions prior to the one earlier today.
There's Noel. Not much there. Yeah, if there's an offense built for the wind, I think it's Monroe's offense.
Yeah, I don't think they care what type of weather conditions they're playing in. They do what they do, and they do it well. There you can get an idea of the windy conditions here at the camp.
3rd and 7.
And there you get an idea of the wind chill at the camp.
Man, it's away the first quarter, too. Here's McConkey. Shotgun 3rd and 7. Goes for the quick pass to the outside. It bounces incomplete. He was looking for Andy Johnson, but the pass never got there. 4th down.
Johnson, 29 catches on the year, second favorite receiver for McConkey.
McConkey's 0 for 3 passing to start. So punting time. McConkey, who's been doing a little bit of everything, will boot this one away. Fair catch called for and made. Sure-handed grab there at the 28-yard line. That was Drew Indergand with a fair catch. And Monroe gets the ball back. The Cheesemakers converting a turnover for a 7-0 lead. Stopping by and getting a delicious turnover for breakfast, but if you're a football coach, that's not the kind of deal you're looking for here. Boy, we got plenty of them.
Salem fumble early on, gave Monroe great field position. Sweeney smelling the goal line, but dropped the ball at the 1-yard line. And shortly thereafter, an interception by Weigel sets up the lone touchdown of the game. Sweeney scored it a 10-yard run, just one play after that pick, only the 8th interception thrown by McConkey this season.
So the Cheesemakers go back on offense. Here's Keaton Sweeney, who's gotten a few looks already today. That's his 5th rush of the game. He has the only touchdown, and he'll gain a couple out to the 31. Talked about Monroe's great state football history. 9th trip to state overall. It's been 26 years, though, since its last finals appearance in 1996. They made the finals, the state finals, 8 times in 10 years from 1986 to 1996. Division II titles in 86, 90, 91, 92. They won Division III in 1994.
And Martin was the architect of all those teams.
Here's Hernandez pulling his way short of the 35.
Toby Gombuski saying a lot of the fathers of the players on this team played on those Monroe teams that Jeff J just detailed to you. And certainly Monroe takes great pride in its football history.
George Burkwicki passing on the season, completes 80% of his passes, 21 out of 26 in 13 games. Up the middle it goes again to the 40, and there you see Tucker Markham saying, yeah, that's another first down, and it is, as Alex Hernandez carries to move the chains. Monroe had a couple of tough playoff games. A level 2 game, I should say, 22-21 against Pewaukee, but over the last 2 weeks, they beat West Bend East 35-0. They beat New Berlin West 48-6. They're trying to continue that roll here. Hernandez on the dive. Short yardage there.
And there's no secret to what they're going to do. Well, there's a secret because the triple option is tough to defend, but they just believe if you do something well enough and execute what you're supposed to do, you're going to have success, and they are a pretty good example of that.
We talked about Monroe's history. Well, West Salem just a few years ago was an 0-9 team. But these 17 seniors for West Salem really bought in. They've committed to the weight room, to team chemistry, and they won't be outworked on the practice field. And Justin Yanes' West Salem Panthers playing for a state title today. Hernandez. And he ran into some black and orange as soon as he hit the line. I see Noel getting up.
Yeah, Noel had a gang tackling bunch of teammates. That didn't fool many people.
Noel also part of the WFCA All-State academic team, so not just a great football player, but a good student as well. 3rd and 7, Monroe. 96% of the teams in the state, it's a passing down, but look at that formation. What? Are you kidding me? He got it. Charlie Weigel with the big pass reception. Take that, you analytics people.
Well, when Monroe decides to throw the ball, they usually surprise the defense. That was the case there. Quarterback rolls out, has good protection, and lofts it down the field. Weigel behind the defense with a big play early. And Calico was surprised that Weigel was behind him, and
42-yard gain on the pass play, and now here comes Tucker Markham with a strong run to the 4.
Again, that was only the 27th time that Brewicki has thrown a pass this year, and this is 14th game.
New moniker on this team, Air Golombeski. Monroe's starting to throw it. Although that might be it for the day, you never know. 1 for 1 for 42 yards for Brewicki. Now they're going to stay on the ground. Here's Sweeney trying to spin out of trouble, but can't. I'm guessing ball security was discussed in the red zone earlier. So he wrapped up and held on, but got it down to about the 3, so it's 2nd and goal for Monroe. Quickly moving through the first quarter, we're almost to the 2-minute mark. Sweeney got the first touchdown, the only touchdown of the game so far. Let's see who Monroe's going to call their number from the 3 this time. It's Hernandez. Nope, it's a pitch. It's to Markham. Touchdown, Monroe. Great fake to Hernandez, then the pitch to Markham to the outside, and the Cheesemakers are up 13-0.
Well, that one completely fooled them. As they've been running between the tackles behind Bunker for much of the game. Set Markham in motion, and he's out there all by himself in time and space. He goes untouched into the end zone. Monroe up 13-0 with 1:41 left in the first quarter.
Extra point again for Wes Saunders. Right down the middle. 14-0 Monroe. The Cheesemakers go 71 yards in 9 plays. 4 minutes, 35 seconds the touchdown drive, and they are in control here late in the first quarter. 14-0. Just a great fake sets up the score.
Yeah, they all buy into the fake, and Markham, who'd gone in motions all by himself, take the pitch and score easily. Quite a statement by Monroe early.
Yeah, sure is.
And again, West Salem, their tournament jitters, whatever, just hadn't been able to get in sync yet. But the 2 early turnovers, Cheesemakers cashed in the first one, and there's a nice sustained drive. I guess surprisingly fueled by a 41-yard pass, picking up well over half of the 71 yards on the scoring drive.
Well, and Justin Yane, the West Salem coach, told us the other day that he was concerned with the size of Monroe. West Salem's pretty quick, but that size of Monroe can be a problem, and we've seen that they've controlled the line of scrimmage, has Monroe, and they keep running and running, and they had one great pass completion for 42 yards to even put something else in the minds of the West Salem defenders. So can't script a much better start for Monroe outside of that one turnover at the goal line. Bruckwicki trying to keep the ball on the tee. It blew off once already. We're going to see if it'll stay up for him this time. There you see the precarious position of the pigskin. And we're able to kick it off. There's the return by the Panthers. Fancy moves there. Gets out to about the 27-yard line. It's Brennan Kennedy on the return for the Panthers. Kennedy, the leading interceptor on defense for West Salem, with 6 this year.
Well, that's the way West Salem can do, to get their offense together and have an answer for Monroe's early success. Again, they got some speed and can score quickly. West Salem lost the first game of the season and has unbeaten since that 1-point loss to Onalaska.
First completion of the day for McConkey, but it's going to net next to nothing. Brennan Kennedy on the reception, but a lot of white shirts go to the football and make the stop.
One of West Salem's victories, 28-14, came over Aquinas, who's the Division 5 champ for the 2nd straight year. They both compete in the Cooley Conference.
West Salem, by the way, located in west central Wisconsin along Interstate 90, 12 miles east of La Crosse, about 165 miles from Minneapolis. Now Knoll. Well, we talk so much about Monroe's offense, but their defense has been spot on so far.
Wayne Meyer made the play there to stop Knoll. Was the conference player of the year in the Cooley. Doesn't have much room to operate there.
23 Tucker Markham slowed him up, and 22 Meyer finished him off. 3rd and 11. I think West Salem still has to snap it before the end of the quarter. We're down to 15 seconds in it. Here's McConkey. Good protection. Throws. Receiver fell down, and it's another interception. Keaton Sweeney gets this one. He was looking for Chris Calico, but Calico fell down, and it was an easy catch for Sweeney.
So a bad break for West Salem when Calico loses his footing. Conkey with some zip in the ball, but when Calico slipped, Sweeney made the correction to pick up another interception. So 2 interceptions and a fumble recovery for Monroe in the first 12 minutes.
The receiver fell down because the pass was so far behind him that he had to try to make the adjustment. That's where he slipped. So another turnover for the Monroe defense, and the Cheesemakers rush to the line with 3 seconds left in the quarter. They're at the West Salem 45. Hernandez. And that will end the first quarter. Well, the vaunted Monroe ground game is clicking. They've completed a pass. They've got 3 turnovers defensively. Can't do much better in the first quarter. Monroe 14-0. So Monroe takes a 14-0 lead into the second quarter. Saw Toby Golombeski, the head coach at Monroe.
And the Santa Claus lookalike.
Yeah.
The other guy in the red beard, not as happy as what he's seen in the first 12 minutes.
That's Justin Yane for West Salem. All right, here we go. Monroe starts out the second quarter, 2nd and 9 at the 44. And it's another big run for Tucker Markham. as he drags a tackler inside the 30. Kellen Wright went for a ride before making the stop.
And Markham overshadowed by what Hernandez and Sweeney and Kuster have done this year. He ran for 586 yards, averaging 10 yards a carry. He showed a pretty good burst there, picking up the first down in the first play of the second quarter.
That one was good for 15. Al Minard from our coach's corner joining us. And Al, pretty impressive show for Monroe so far.
Absolutely. Huh? This is the script that Monroe drew up, and it's the exact opposite of what West Salem wanted.
Now that time they stack up Hernandez.
In reality, West Salem's had kind of like the nightmare of horrors here for their first quarter. It's like, who are these guys and who kidnapped my team?
Yeah, and those turnovers can be so deflating, especially when they happen, you know, at the 10-yard line.
Exactly. And so hopefully they'll get settled in here and show their true colors as far as who they are.
Here's a 2nd and 9 for Monroe. They'll give Hernandez another carry. Nope, that's another fake to the outside. Oh boy, keep your head on a swivel. That's Tucker Markham to the outside. Didn't get a whole lot, but it's going to be 3rd and long for Monroe.
Al, what do you think of Bunker? I mean, he's certainly had a big label.
Look at him. Look at him right here.
Look at him. Look
he's
at
just
him.
mauling people. No, he's super impressive. I know I talked with Edgewood coach Jesse Morris, who had seen him last year, and said that he's just a beast. Yeah, he's very impressive.
Hernandez flipped over at the 25. And the West Salem head coach Justin Yane the other night was concerned about Monroe's size. They probably have a speed advantage, but the size thing is really hard to overcome.
You know, and Monroe's speed is deceptive, you know, because again, the whole offense is deception, and everything just ties off of each part, and it's built as a series, and you can see how the cameraman gets fooled. It makes your linebackers and your secondary play very slow because they're trying to find the ball and they can't.
They're going to throw it again. Well, that time Brooke Wiki couldn't make a connection with Keaton Sweeney, so it's going to be 4th down.
We'll see if this is a little turning point for West Salem, if they could get something going offensively. But as you mentioned, the Monroe defense is really, really good.
Well, check that. That was on 4th down, so turnover on downs. My bad.
Big stop for West Salem defense there.
Al, they threw it twice already. What do you think?
Hey, he's opening up the whole playbook today.
There you go. All right, well, some more optimistic looks on the West Salem faces on that turnover on downs. And the Panthers will start at their own 25.
Okay, if you're Coach Jane on the sidelines for West Salem, what do you do to settle your club down here as we start the second quarter?
Well, I think he's going to try some of these quick throws again, would be my guess. Get it out of his hand quickly. There you go, wide receiver screen. But Monroe is like so well prepared for everything, and the wind makes it really hard to throw it downfield.
Brendan Kennedy on that last reception came up a little gimpy. He's still trying to walk it off in the West Salem huddle. If you look at Jordan Clokey, who was in on that last stop.
Kennedy, their leading receiver, that was his 38th reception of the year.
But Monroe is owning the line of scrimmage, and you know, up 14-0 is way easier to play defense too.
Noel with a carry. Lane Meyer filled the hole and made the stop. So another 3rd and long coming up for West Salem.
Now, since you're down there, how big is the factor is the wind?
It is really cold.
I had no doubt about that. I was more concerned about how the wind might affect the passing and the kicking game.
It's kind of wind screw down here, and it is not a pleasant experience to play football today. I think the other big thing is we saw those turnovers early in the game. The colder it is, the slipperier the ball is, and you know, Monroe did a great job of punching it out earlier, and so did West Salem when Monroe fumbled down on the one.
It's 3rd and 8 for the Panthers. McConkey over the middle, finds Kennedy, Kennedy's going to get a first down, has some blockers, far side, 40, 30, cuts back at the 20 and gets to the 17-yard line. What a big play there. Flag comes in late. Some energy for the Panthers.
Oh, that's what they needed. Kennedy showed pretty good speed and out of poise, directed his blockers.
Yeah.
Pretty skillful after he caught the ball.
Very nice.
Checked the flag at the end of the
Very
play.
nice play design, a little shallow cross with the other outside receivers running them off.
Kennedy was playing possum, man. He was hopping around like he was limping, and all of a sudden, boom, got the ball, and there he goes.
You can see there's two flags. One came from well across the field.
Here's Patrick O'Brien with the call.
At the end of the play, we have a personal foul. Face mask against the defense, half the distance. Results will be a first down.
So a 56-yard pass play from Brett McConkey to Brendan Kennedy. You're going to see a face mask at the end right there. Oh, that's a clear one. So 56 yards on the pass. Go half the distance to the goal and the penalty. Inside the 9-yard line, West Salem looking for their first score of the day.
Nice block by Knoll downfield, too, and Kennedy used it effectively.
McConkey option. Knoll pitch. Gets the corner. Touchdown, West Salem. Well executed play, and the Panthers get their first points of the day.
Pretty impressive answer from the Panthers as they do settle things down and put together their best march of the day. Nice pitch to Knoll. Well executed play. West Salem can have the lead right here.
You know, they're way too good to have gotten here playing the way they did the first quarter. And to get at this point in the second quarter only down hopefully 7 with the made extra point, this is a big win for them.
Extra point is good.
We'll see if that gives them some juice on the defense.
Well, that's the 27th rushing touchdown of the year for Luke Knoll, and he went in untouched. We got ourselves a game, 14-7 Monroe. The 2022 WIAA State Football Championships are brought to you by Cousins Subs. We believe in better. And by Cobus and Buses, now hiring school bus drivers. Family pride in every ride. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Well, the West Salem Panthers were down, but they were not out. Big touchdown run by Luke Knoll. And they're back within 7 at 14-7. Here's the kick from Brett McConkey. And the spinner lands at about the 15-yard line. And here's a big return for Monroe. And that is Benjamin Gadula, number 3. And he is fired up. Gets it out to the 40.
Nice kick return by Gadula, who takes it at the 15. Has a seam, cuts it the outside, changes hands with the ball, and gives pretty good field position to this run-oriented offense.
Cole Everson made the tackle for West Salem, but not before Gadula got out to the 40. Well, the Monroe offense with good field position, trying to respond to the West Salem touchdown. Here's a run for Tucker Markham. He's tough to bring down. Ball came loose, but I think the whistle blew. West Salem thinks they have it, but they're going to mark him just short of the 50. It's Kellen Bright coming away with the football, but again, the whistle blew. Let's check it. So I think they stopped the forward progress right about there. McConkey is the guy who ripped it out, but the whistle had blown.
The takeaway Tuesday drill there.
Yeah, well, you can see what they're trying to do, that's for sure. Timeout, West Salem.
Timeout. West Salem, that's their first.
West Salem makes a stop prior to the 71-yard touchdown or march.
Okay, there you see that Pat O'Brien's calling for a timeout, as we will as well. 14-7 Monroe. While you were away, the decision was made to have instant replay look at this. Colby Golombeski went to the referees and made sure that they were able to hear the whistle on the replay, because that was the initial ruling on the field. And they want to make sure that the replay shows that part of the equation.
The review didn't take long, and here is the results of that review.
I think it's safe to say that the call on the field stands.
Yeah, I was going to say, we aren't going to hear that on a microphone apparently, but.
All right. So Monroe will take it. The whistle did blow the play dead. 49-yard line of the Cheesemakers. Hernandez finds some running space, gets into the second level, and gets to the 40. Gain of about 10. First down, Monroe.
Definitely is rumbling right there. McConkey finally hauled down the big running back. He is a load.
Tucker Markham's been an impact player for Monroe. 6 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown, also leading the team with 5 tackles defensively. Tucker Markham, number 23. They go with Hernandez again. This time, a little different result. It's about a half yard. Monroe is the Swiss cheese capital of the USA, the county seat of Greene County in south central Wisconsin, just north of the Illinois border.
Ever been to Cheese Day?
Oh, great event. Tell you.
So big they only hold it every other year. But it's a good time.
Tell you what, if your name is Kubley, you gotta rule the roost on Cheese Days in Monroe. Here comes Markham. Still going inside the 30. Well, Hernandez and Sweeney were the guys that had the big yardage numbers on the year. Hernandez 1487 and Sweeney 1321. Markham is one of those other guys that have good numbers. 586 yards rushing coming in, and he got his 13th touchdown today. But they've had so many games where they had so many one-sided affairs. They've had so many guys contribute. So there's the two big cornerstones, Hernandez and Sweeney. There's Hernandez. Boy, he's tough to bring down. Got a little Derrick Henry in him, it looks like.
Hernandez more the workhorse of this stable of running back. And he certainly wears you down if you're a defender having to face him.
Yeah.
You said they haven't had to face him much because there's been so many running time games for Monroe.
Yeah. Caden Kuster's the third leading rusher with 828 yards. He hasn't had a touch yet. That time, Markham falls forward to the 20.
So the three-headed monster of Hernandez, Sweeney, and Markham have done a pretty good job. So Kuster hasn't got to get involved.
3rd and 1, Monroe. We're flying through the second quarter, down to 4.5 minutes. West Salem got back in the game with a touchdown. Now they need a defensive stop. Tightly bunched formation for Monroe. And there goes Markham again, inside the 10, down to the 7.
And Markham's had a big day. Following Bunker once again, who pulls. They got 2 blockers, and Markham cuts inside and is inside the 10.
Austin Fox, the right guard, he was looking for somebody to block.
And a timeout here for West Salem, I believe.
Timeout. West Salem.
It is.
That is the second of the half.
Well, this big drive. I mean, you go in 14-7. That's a whole lot different than 21-7.
No question. Well, of course, West Salem had a chance to get the ball back. 1 timeout remaining if they do. Monroe will get the ball to start the second half.
This is our first of 3 state championship games at Camp Randall Stadium in Madison. Of course, Monroe and West Salem late in the second quarter. At 1 o'clock, it'll be Bob Brainerd and the new guy, Gary Ellerson, joins us for West De Pere and Kettle Moraine. And then I'll be back with Gary for the Division I final. Kimberly against Mukwonago. That's going to be a battle as well.
Yeah, interesting matchups. Don't be fooled by that 3-loss Kettle Moraine team. They play in the Classic 8, which arguably is the best conference of the year. So they lost to some good teams, but they got a hellacious defense. West De Pere's had a big year. And the D1 matchup, tradition-rich Kimberly against Mukwonago here for the first time since 2004.
Back to Division III as Markham tries to stretch for the goal line and doesn't quite get there. Chris Calico tried to rip the ball away at the end, number 2.
You can see they put an emphasis on takeaways.
Yep.
And they know what they're doing. Calico here at the end of the play trying to steal the ball. Panthers have had a total of 48 takeaways and 4th down turnovers this year.
Impressive.
They could use one here.
Yeah, right? Okay, Hernandez and Markham are behind the quarterback, Brooke Wicke. Markham, touchdown, Monroe. It's a 1-yard touchdown run for Tucker Markham. And Monroe's lead is back to 20-7.
Again, right behind Bunker. I take that back. Bunker for a change wasn't the lead blocker there.
Austin Fox.
Yeah, I'm going to say
guy.
Tony Wolf threw a key block as well.
Wes Saunders, his 3rd extra point of the day. Monroe with another good extended drive as they go 60 yards. Tucker Markham now 86 yards on the day with a couple of scores. Then we take a look at the blocking on the last Markham touchdown. There you see 62 again, looking for somebody to block.
And Markham's big day continues. That got 86 yards. That drive took almost 4.5 minutes to go 60 yards in 9 plays.
So Monroe gets a touchdown they are very happy about with just 3:11 left in the half. Now they'd love to get one more stop and really put the pedal to the metal, as it were. Toby Golembeski with a word of encouragement for his touchdown scorer, Tucker Markham. And they love Drew Indergand. Win the day, Drew. Big crowd from Monroe.
Indergand, one of 5 captains for Monroe.
Here's the kickoff, a running catch at the 20. And good kick coverage there as Chris Calico got just short of the 30.
Wayne Meyer made the stop on special teams. So with 1 timeout on a windy day, and the quarterback not having a good day, throwing a couple of picks already. Let's see what West Salem does in their 3-minute drill.
Bakonki's 3 of 7 for 56 yards and those 2 picks that Groff mentioned. This drive starts at their own 28. Four receivers are split left and right. This time they go left. Calico. Calico lost the football again, and there's 3 Monroe cheesemakers to fall on it. My goodness. And Tucker Markham gets the fumble recovery. That guy is having a day.
Yeah, isn't it ironic that a team that has done so well because of turnovers have 4 turnovers in the first half of the state title game?
Sweeney forced the fumble, Keaton Sweeney, and then Markham pounced on it.
Got Calico out into space, but he couldn't hold on to the football thanks to that big hit by Sweeney, and then all sorts of white jerseys on a piece of the loose ball.
goes from bad to worse here in this end of the second quarter for West Salem.
This would be a game-turning touchdown if you could punch one in here in the final 3 minutes. But again, Monroe's not going to change what they do. They're going to run it.
There's Caden Kuster getting the carry.
Cheesemakers with 3 timeouts.
Boy, West Salem was sitting there 14-7. They scored that touchdown to cut the lead to 14-7, but boy, oh boy, these last few minutes have been a bit of a killer for the Panthers. But they hold them here. It's still 21-7.
Cheesemakers in no hurry here. In fact, they're going to have to be concerned about the play clock, I believe, but they get it off.
This is Sweeney probing the right side.
Knoll tripped up Sweeney. Certainly 4-down territory for the Cheesemakers.
As we're under 2 minutes and a half now. At halftime, we'll have a conversation with Kate Peterson-Abiad, the assistant director of the WIA, on officials recruiting and basketball seeding. Well, there's a can of worms.
Good luck, Kate.
Yeah, we wish her well. Hernandez. Close to the first down marker, but going to be a yard short. Kate Peterson-Abiad, one of the great three-point shooters at the Shell here, just across the street at Federal Stadium.
I believe she launched a few over you during your noontime basketball games.
Every once in a while, she'd forget to put in her contacts, and that was a real problem. She saw 3 baskets, and she shot at the middle one, though.
4th and 1 coming. West Salem needs a stop big time. Monroe, the final 60 seconds of the half, needs the first down to keep this drive going.
And it's going to be Keaton Sweeney who gets the first down and a lot more to the 16.
Well, big play there. West Salem gets a stop. They go into a little momentum as it is. Sweeney breaks through to the second level. Took a stop by Andy Johnson, or he might have gone all the way.
Well, that time he did get behind Isaac Bunker, and they'll mark him down at the 17. And that's where Monroe has it with 1st and 10. Now 35 seconds left in the half. But again, the Cheesemakers with all 3 timeouts. There's Kuster.
And there's Knoll.
And now we will have a timeout.
Timeout. Monroe. It's their first of the first half.
Knoll blew that one up. That's why he's the conference player of the year in the Cooley.
Toby Golubeski. 7th season at Monroe. Boy, what a job he's done. 50 wins, 22 losses. We talked about Monroe's great successes in the 80s and 90s, but there was a bit of a drought in Monroe from a football sense there for a while, as they were members of the Badger Conference. Now they're in the Rock Valley. They swept through the Rock Valley undefeated 7-0. But they have restored the roar for Monroe football, and there's the architect of it.
Beat New Berlin West 48-6 on level 4, the semifinals of this Division III tournament. Again, dare we say that they might throw the ball in the final 22 seconds of the half? They've thrown, what, 2 passes today?
Yeah. 1 of 2 for 42 is Bruckwicki. Pass time. Bruckwicki incomplete. Looking for Hernandez.
And they roll them right. And that one a little off the mark to Hernandez at the 10.
That's it. Back into the sun look for Hernandez too, but the throw is behind him. That would have been one heck of a catch.
And again, it goes against everything we've seen from the Cheesemakers, but time now is not their friend. Even with the timeouts, you might have to take a shot in the end zone. But again, that goes against their nature and what they do best.
They've scored from 17 yards on the ground at times this year. Hernandez. Oh, look at Knoll fill the hole. Boy, that's a great play by Knoll. Wow.
He has been disruptive, particularly on this drive, to the Cheesemakers, and they're going to let the clock. Well, we're going to have one more play.
Yep.
Let the clock wind down to 2 seconds.
Monroe
From the 16.
it's their second of the first half.
Ball at the 16-yard line with 2 seconds left. Noel with 10 tackles in the game in the first half. There he is, number 20.
There's a pretty good example of when you are one-dimensional. That's not a real impressive 2-minute drill when they're looking for a knockout punch for a touchdown. But they will undoubtedly throw the ball in the end zone here in the final play of the first half. But when you're not used to throwing it, you don't really have much of a 2-minute offense.
But their quarterback completes 80% of their passes. How about that?
Well, and he had a big play today.
He did. He did. Oh.
Field goal attempt here.
Wes Saunders. He's made 3 extra points. And they don't try a whole lot of field goals, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to try one here.
Just 33 yards.
Oh, they're going to ice him.
Literally.
It's 23 degrees.
Timeout. West Salem.
I think he's already iced.
Final of the first half.
And Saunders like, are you kidding me? I'm already cold.
Their only field goal this year was kicked by Ethan Rosensteel. So this will be the first field goal attempt by the gentleman who's got 3 extra points today.
The WIA football playoffs began back in 1976. 4 divisions. And it's only missed 1 year. That was 2020, that darn COVID pandemic. But now we're pretty much back to speed and glad of it. Okay, 33 yards for Saunders. Bruckwicki, the quarterback, is the holder. And the snap goes right through Bruckwicki's hands, and he'll fall on it back at the 32, so they don't even get the attempt off. And that will do it for the first half. Well, lots of turnovers early. Monroe settled down. West Salem made a game of it. It was 14-7, but at the half, the Cheesemakers go to the locker room with a lot of momentum. There's one of those turnovers that led to a score. There's another touchdown runs by Monroe, and the Cheesemakers are up 21-7 at the break.
Halftime at Camp Randall Stadium in this Division III state championship. The Cheesemakers up on the Panthers 21-7. Shane Sparks joined by Kate Peterson-Abian, Assistant Director of the WIEA. And Kate, we are going to talk about a crisis in officiating.
Yeah, we have a definite loss of officials. It's been declining over the last probably 10 years. COVID hit us really hard. Many people did not return after the COVID season. So we've been working throughout the whole state with our membership, with conference commissioners, with officials, trying to replenish those numbers. We're working with our high schools to run classes for students, try to teach them how to officiate, maybe give them the love of officiating early on. But we have a number of factors that are keeping our officials away. Our officials, for every 10 that we bring in, only 2 return after the second year. And they say number 1 reason for that is adult behavior. So we just need a collective effort from our fans to remember that they're learning how to do this craft as well, just like the kids are. So just need some latitude for our officials to learn and grow in their officiating journey.
And the WIA officials, they really do a good job. And you bring up a good point from the standpoint of they're learning too. I mean, they're officiating high school athletes, not professional athletes. And likewise, they're not professional officials. They're learning the craft as well, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and we have a lot of officials that are nearing the end of their careers. And so they're trying to train the next generation. And those, we're going to have a big gap here where our very experienced officials are going to leave, and some young, less experienced officials are going to be taking over, and we've got to let them get to where they can get as well. So just need everybody's cooperation, and we're doing some things on our end to try to help entice officials to come out and stay. And so it's a collective effort.
So if you are watching right now and you have interest or are thinking about becoming an official, how do they get involved?
Well, you can get right on our website, wiaawi.org. And right on the top, there's a place where you can click on the word officials. And under that, you'll see Become an Official. When you click on that, all the information of how to sign up is right there.
And you're also involved in the basketball side. So last year was the first season for the playoffs. Boys and girls basketball, electronic seating. Anything to know about that?
Like you said, it was our first year last year. We had a formula that was applied, throughout the entire state, and we made a few tweaks to that for this coming season. A few issues that were a little problematic that we, with anything, you're trying to create a formula that applies to everyone. The very best teams in the state, down to the, very ground level programs. And so we learned from the first year, and we have a seating committee that has, attempted some other formulas and trying to find one that really works for everyone. And so there will be a few changes to the formula, and hopefully we'll see, more people happy about their seeds this year.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Of course.
Appreciate this, and hopefully we will get you some officials. Thanks again.
So much.
We'll be back with Coach Al Minert. It's halftime in this Division III championship game. It's a cold one at Camp Randall. At the half in this Division III state championship, Monroe up on West Salem 21-7. Shane Sparks back with you with Al Minert. Al, in football, there is one rule. Don't turn the ball over. That's been the story in the first half.
No question. I think West Salem probably in the locker room going, we've met the enemy and it is us. They've just probably played their worst half of football so far this year. That being said, only down 2 touchdowns, have to get a stop. I would look for them at some point to try to steal a possession, whether that's go for it in an uncommon time to go for it, onside kick, fake punt. They have to generate an extra possession to make up for what they've lost.
With Monroe, video game-like stats, averaging almost 400 yards rushing per game, and they have a number of different guys that can hurt you. We saw some of that in the first half.
Right. It's not a one-horse pony. They've got three, 4 kids that are carrying the mail, and they're doing a great job. They're running all their stuff. West Salem has bent on a couple and did stop a couple, but Monroe's eating a lot of clock along with yardage.
And with Monroe, the style of football they play, as you said, maintain possession, move the sticks, keep the ball on the ground. Again, going back to West Salem defensively, how do they get themselves back into this?
I think they got to try to create turnovers, but the one thing is if you try to create the turnover without getting a hold of them first, then that's how you get broken tackles too. And so but the other thing is they've got to settle in and do what they do offensively. Obviously a stop or, again, an onside kick to start the second half to get the ball back with. If they can get back within a score, then you got a shot with some momentum and game on.
Monroe up by a pair of touchdowns. Jay and Bill will recap that first half. That's up next here on Bally Sports Wisconsin.
Hey, we gained a degree. It's 24 degrees now. Feels like 12 instead of 11.
Getting close to high noon.
Oh, boy. Well, the hearty fans from Monroe and West Salem watching this Division III state championship game. Bill Brophy, Jay Wilson with you on Bally Sports Wisconsin. Cheesemakers up 21-7. Turnovers a big story of that first half.
Yeah, sunny and bright if you're in Monroe. But again, as you say, the turnover's the key. There were 4 of them in the first half. They cashed in one of them here as Sweeney goes 10 yards for the first touchdown of the game. It came one play after an interception. Here's a nice pitch to Markham for the first of his 2 touchdowns, an 8-yard run. That made it 14-0 after one. West Salem only had 12 total yards in the first quarter. They get their offense in gear here. They go 73 yards in 4 plays. Noel with an 8-yard run, but a big touchdown there. Markham on a 1-yard run to complete a 9-play, 60-yard drive. It's been all Monroe, but the turnovers, the bottom of your screen, the key. West Salem hasn't been able to get it going, and they turn it over, giving Monroe a short field. And they like to run the ball, and the time of possession reflects the fact that possessions are valued if you're both teams. And does West Salem get enough possessions here in the second half to come back?
And West Salem was within 14-7. They had the football. You're thinking, wow, they come down and score there with a long drive, then they're in good shape. But Monroe got a late score, and then 21-7. It'll be interesting to see how West Salem reacts coming out of the locker room.
But again, West Salem hasn't had the ball. You see at the bottom of your screen the number of plays. Obviously, time of possession is always a big deal. We saw yesterday, though, that wasn't a stat that mattered when Aquinas beat Mayville, despite being Mayville having a huge edge at times of time of possession. But Monroe is an impressive team the way they run the football, and tough to be 2 touchdowns down to a team like that.
And the Cheesemakers deferred the decision to the second half, so the Cheesemakers will get the ball when we begin the third quarter of the Division III State Championship game in a bit. 21-7 Monroe on Valley Sports Wisconsin. Welcome back to Madison, Wisconsin. There you see a great view of Camp Randall Stadium, the UW Fieldhouse, home of the defending national champion Wisconsin Badger volleyball team. They're looking to make another deep run into the NCAA tournament. There you see George Brookwicki, the quarterback for Monroe. And Broke, you know, there was a former Major League Baseball player from West Salem, Damian Miller.
Oh, yeah.
From there, played for the Twins, Diamondbacks, Cubs, Athletics, and Brewers. Won a World Series with the Diamondbacks in 01. He's from West Salem.
Yeah,
You're doing Badger hockey tonight as the Badgers take on Lindenwood here on Valley Sports Wisconsin. You've got a little West Salem connection, too.
Oh, full sports day here. What connection this?
Jack Horniak's from there, right?
Well, he's from West Salem. You're right. Probably he's the only Division I player to come out of West Salem and play college hockey. But, yeah, 50-year kid, he can really skate. He would have been right at home in the field here last night when got snow covered.
Hey, that makes you a 2-sport guy today.
Yeah.
There's the kickoff. It'll roll to the 31. And I think that's Keaton Sweeney, if I'm not mistaken. Nope, it is Tucker Markham. He's been in the middle of everything and starts the second half with a return back to the 40.
Markham, one of the first half stars, with a couple of touchdown runs, leading rusher. You get the impression this is a big drive. Again, Monroe controlled the ball. If they can go down the field, there you can see Markham having a big day. But the three-headed monster that is the rushing attack for Monroe has been unstoppable. And if they can go down the field and get another score, it's going to be an uphill climb for West Salem to be sure.
That's going to be Markham for 8 to start this drive. Yeah, the longest rush of the day for Monroe is 15 yards. So they really haven't broken a huge one, but they do a lot of these 7, 8, 9-yard runs. And here we go with a second and 2 for Monroe from their own 48.
And they just play smash mouth football. It's not necessarily pretty, but they come right at you and say, this is what we're going to do, and stop us.
Hernandez gets this carry. He'll get a first down. Carries a couple of tacklers with him to the 44 of West Salem. So new set of downs as Hernandez just pounds it.
And pretty much everything runs behind that big old 64 Isaac Bunker. And he's going to go to the Naval Academy. And now McGuire used to talk about aircraft carriers, and Bunker's a pretty good aircraft carrier to run behind if you're 31 Hernandez and company.
Bunker 64, a 3-sport athlete, football, wrestling, and track. I don't think I'd like to go against him in wrestling, come to think of it. There's Sweeney diving forward.
And again, they just pound on you, and it takes its toll as the day goes on. Again, they can come out and make a statement drive here. Go up by 3 scores. West Salem definitely going to have to abandon their game plan and go to throw mode, you would think.
Yep. 184 yards on the ground as a team for Monroe so far today, just into the third quarter. This is a 2nd and 6. This is Markham again. Takes a spill from Brett McConkey after a nice gain and another first down game.
Markham's been very impressive today. He's a senior, 6'2", 195. Again, now one of the leading rushers all season, 4th in the club, both in carries as well as yardage.
101 yards now on the ground for Markham today, so he's over the century mark. First downs, Monroe has 13. That was their 13th. West Salem has only 2 first downs all day. Now Hernandez, big hole, 20, ridden down at the 19. McConkey and Arntz on the tackle, but not before Hernandez rolled for another first down.
And Markham, the speedier of the backs. Hernandez just pounds it. He's 235 pounds at 6 feet. He gets to the second level, and he's going to take on that defender. McConkey dragged him down, but not till another first down.
That was good for 13 yards, the second longest run of the day for Monroe. They go over 200 yards in rushing as a team now. Hernandez again. A little tougher sledding this time on that first down carry. Trevor Arntz, one of the tacklers for West Salem.
And I think West Salem coach analyzed this matchup pretty well. Their size against West Salem's speed, and basically Monroe has bludgeoned West Salem to this point. Controlled the clock. Time of possession, number of plays, all favor Monroe in a big way.
Again, not a huge bust out 60-yard touchdown run, but 9 rushes of 10 or more yards for Monroe today. That's a pretty good formula to eat up clock and keep the chains moving on drives. This is Sweeney. Tries to get to the edge, now turns it up. He's going to be right at the first down marker at the 10.
Outran Oldenburg to get to the edge.
Andy Johnson finally got him corralled around that 10-yard line, and it's going to be first and goal right at the 10 for Monroe. Another good drive going for the Cheesemakers to start the third quarter.
Sweeney's got 1 rushing touchdown. Markham's got a pair of rushing touchdowns. See whose number they call here at the 10.
Well, Hernandez probably raised his hand, I would think.
Yeah, I think
probably his turn.
That's to get in the party. I think they are offside.
Markham got the carry. It's tossed down at the end of the play. Apologies all around by the West Salem defender.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, 5 yards. Repeat the same down.
Here's Toby Golomessi.
Don't think he liked that false start.
Brookwicki, the quarterback, gets the final instructions and now carries the play in along with Drew Indergan, 15 for Monroe. And here we go, the 1st and 15, a first and goal from the 15 for Monroe. And another pre-snap flag. And motion again of the Cheesemakers.
Prior to the snap, false start on the offense, remains first down.
Boy, you can hear the wind whipping through Pat O'Brien's microphone, the field referee today.
Again, for most teams, this is a passing situation. Don't bet on it with the Cheesemakers. They've thrown 3 passes today.
Yeah. Yep, 1 for 3 is Brookwicki. It's that 142-yarder to Weagle. That's been it.
That provided an element of surprise and was a key play on the second scoring drive of the day.
To the outside they go. Here comes Markham to the 10, to the 8. Markham still stays up on his feet despite getting pushed out of bounds.
Pick up the penalty yardage plus a couple more on this sweep.
sure tackle at the end by Chris Calico for West Salem.
Been a tournament so far of running backs, and Markham is starting to put his name up there with Kilty of Stratford and Rocco of Regis.
Here's Markham. Markham to the end zone, lost the football, falls on it. Touchdown. I think he crossed the goal line despite the fumble, but he made sure of it by falling on it. It's another run for a touchdown for Markham, his third of the day. It's 27-7 Monroe.
Markham running hard, and you're right, he wasn't going to take any chances, but I'm with you. I think he crossed the plane. Hit here by McConkey stripping the ball.
That was closer than I thought.
Yeah. Anyway, Markham made sure and fell on the ball for his third score of the day. Nice looking drive coming out of the locker room for the Cheesemakers.
And I think they're looking at the replay official. They're saying touchdown. Some hesitation. I wonder if they were going to take a longer look at that, but they looked down at the relay official, and it is a touchdown for Markham. So Saunders for another extra point. There's the high school goalposts, a little wider than the ones the Badgers use for NCAA games. Saunders is true again. He's 4 for 4, and Monroe is up 28-7.
They go 60 yards coming out of the locker with 9 plays. Take a 3-touchdown lead.
Cheesemakers in control in Division III. Another touchdown run for Monroe. Another touchdown run for Tucker Markham. 28-7 Monroe. We wish a happy birthday to Bill Brophy.
Well, thanks, Jay.
That was breaking news that Bob Randall just brought in.
Now, what better way to spend it than with you and Bob?
Well,
Camp Randall.
Yep.
And Alan and Shane. Now, I'm really looking forward to going down to the field to spend it with Shane and Al with the wind chill at 11.
Bad news is that's your only present of the day.
Yep.
Here makes the return. This is Sweeney, or Brennan Kennedy for West Salem. And he danced around a little bit and got to the 28.
The margin on the bottom of your screen is impressive enough, 28-7. The time of possession thus far in this title game, 27 minutes and change for Monroe, 9 minutes and change for West Salem, who just haven't had a chance to do much offensively. When they had, they've turned the ball over 4 times.
That's a lot of possession time, boy. So Brett McConkey trying to jumpstart this West Salem offense. McConkey to the outside, and lots of white jerseys to slow him down there. I see Kuster. Charlie Weigel was in there. Just about everybody on the right side of that Monroe defense. West Salem spent 8 seasons in the Mississippi Valley Conference and returned to the Cooley Conference in 2022, and they are the champions of the Cooley this year, 7-0. They beat Aquinas for the conference championship in the final game of the regular season. Aquinas, we saw, won the Division V championship against Mayville yesterday. So a couple of Cooley Conference schools represented here. Well, that's Wisconsin. The sun's out and the snow flurries are flying. Quick pass to the outside. That's Brennan Kennedy again.
Pass complete to Brennan Kennedy.
Charlie Weigel had visions of picking that one off and going for a pick 6, but he didn't get his hand on that. And instead, West Salem with a pickup to make it a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, those turnovers, they can be contagious for a defense. It's like catnip. You get 1, you get 2, you get 3, you want more. Sometimes they go in streaks, those turnovers, you know, but Monroe's got 4 turnovers against West Salem today. A little hesitation on the pitch out to Knoll, and he's going to be cut down just short of the first down marker.
And because possessions are so valuable today, even though there's a long way to go in this one, I think this is 4-down territory for West Salem. It'll be 4th and short, but I don't think they can afford to punt the ball to Monroe.
There you see the alignment. It's a yard short of the first down, so 4th and 1 with 6:30 left. Third quarter. McConkey gets the play call from the sideline. And here we go. That's the Monroe crowd cheering on his defense. The West Salem crowd wants the offense to keep the drive going. McConkey will sneak it. And I think he's got it. Yep. Needed one, got 1 3/4.
Had to have that one.
Yeah.
And you can't give the ball back to the guys in the light the way they've been able to run and run and run some more. But West Salem not deviating from their game plan. They're not afraid to run the ball down 21 points.
Dancing with who brung them. 1st and 10 at the 39. McConkey throws and pass is dropped. That was intended for Luke Knoll.
They had the screen set up but didn't execute the pass very well. Just didn't get to Knoll, who dropped the ball.
Looked like the passer hit a little bit. That might have been wind aided, perhaps.
Cold fingers and all.
Yeah. 2nd and 10. Knoll. Running room. Into Monroe territory. Well, actually right at the midfield marker. Good burst by Luke Knoll. That'll be a fresh set of downs for the Panthers. One of the better holes of the day through that Monroe defensive line.
Knoll runs hard.
Yep.
He's been everything as advertised. Certainly been the key to their defense. Their leading tackler, I would think, without having seen the stats.
Yep.
But he's been in the middle of everything defensively.
Knoll and McConkey both have 10 tackles, by the way, to lead that West Salem defense. There's, you see the 2 of them on the offensive side, the quarterback and the running back. McConkey lets it fly, and it's it was complete and then knocked away. The intended target was Brennan Kennedy, and the defender was Keaton Sweeney, and he's slow to get up.
Sweeney made the play, though.
Yep.
Gonna get medical attention here. McConkey didn't set his feet.
Boy, McConkey stepped into that pressure. Boy, what a great defensive job by Mr. Sweeney. Look at that pressure.
And Sweeney's still down on the turf at the end of this play, causing us to take a timeout.
Oh. 4:55 left third quarter. Been quite a day for Monroe. They've outgained West Salem 276 to 108. First down 16 for Monroe, 4 for West Salem. And their running attack has been something. 234 yards rushing and 3 scores on the ground for Monroe. Make it 4 scores.
Sweeney just got the wind knocked out of him. Coming up next, Division II title game at 1 o'clock is West De Pere 12-1 goes against Kettle Moraine 10-3. And again, that record a little misleading since they play a real tough schedule in the Classic 8. The Division I title game at 4 o'clock hits Kimberly against McWanago. McWanago with a wonderful running back. That ought to be an entertaining game.
Yeah.
Both of them should be entertaining matchups.
There you see Keaton Sweeney getting to the sideline. He had a big day defensively with an interception, a couple of pass breakups. Now 2nd and 10 for West Salem is resumed. McConkey will pitch to Knoll. And Knoll gets to the edge. Tough run, stays in bounds, and gets a first down run.
And again, we got a ways to go, but you kind of get the impression this is a must-score drive for West Salem.
I don't think there's any doubt, yeah.
Knoll running hard, except the first down. He's been their leading rusher all year.
Yep, all-conference linebacker, running back. We mentioned all academic All-State. Panthers with first down from the Monroe 39. Knoll. Not that time.
Not much running room that time at all.
Tucker Markham there to meet him. No gain. Our champions yesterday, Division 7 Regis, Division 6 Stratford, Division 5 Aquinas, and Division 4 Columbus on a snowy evening in Madison. Roads got a little slippery last night.
Field got a little slippery last night.
Sure did. Second down play for West Salem. Incomplete. Johnson looks at his teammates and going, man, how did I not get that one?
Andy Johnson's been sure-handed this year, their second-leading receiver, but he just drops this one with a lot of room to roam.
Head might have turned upfield a little early. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often to Andy Johnson, I'll tell you that.
Gotta have a short memory. Big play coming here at 3rd and 10. And they're going to need Johnson if they're going to come back in this one.
Yeah, body language hadn't been great for some of the West Salem guys lately here. They need a spark. Let's see if they can get it on 3rd and 10. McConkey with an option. Pitch to Knoll. Nearly bobbled it. And spun down after a very short gain. That's Kuster leading the tacklers for Monroe.
Trying to get Knoll to the outside. And again, they pursued the football pretty well, the defenders in white. So it's 4th and long. No doubt about it. This is 4-down territory for West Salem.
At the Monroe 37. On 4th downs today, West Salem is 1 for 1. So there's a bit of optimism for the Panthers, perhaps.
They're helping their time of possession stat of this drive, but they need points.
Yeah. They have only 7. That was Knoll's touchdown run in the first half. Empty backfield. McConkey and a go for the home run. And nearly got it, but knocked away by Drew Indergan. And Monroe gets it back on downs.
Brennan Kennedy had a step on the defender, but the pass a little underthrown, and Indergan, one of their captains from Monroe, makes a big defensive play to turn the ball over. Again, Kennedy was behind the defense. Indergan with a good recovery to knock away that might have broken West Salem.
I know a lot of you had cheese heads, but do you have a cheese shirt? How about that? Where do you get a cheese shirt?
I guess Monroe.
Our producer Bruce Wolf informs us that there is another high school in America that has the nickname Cheesemakers. That is Tillamook, Oregon. And if you've ever enjoyed Tillamook cheese, you know why. Here we go, 1st and 10, Monroe. Well, that time a missed handoff.
There's a flag as well.
And Bruckwicki is going to have to eat it. And yes, a penalty marker in the Monroe backfield as well.
I knew Wanakee was the only Wanakee in the world.
Yeah.
I kind of thought Monroe were the only cheesemakers.
You would think. You would think. Waiting for the announcement on the penalty from our referee.
Against Monroe.
Illegal shift. 2 men in motion on the offense. 5 yards. Remains. First down.
Boy, that wind sounds ferocious.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Man. That's the 4th penalty of the day on Monroe. West Salem does not have a penalty in our game. But the Cheesemakers are up 28-7. Here's Hernandez. He runs right into Kellen Wright, the left side linebacker for West Salem.
Again, West Salem trying to steal the ball, Kellen Wright. But again, the whistle blowing. By the time Wright had wrested the ball away from the big running back Hernandez.
Hernandez has been one of the workhorses out of the backfield. That's 18 carries for 77 yards. Markham with 15 carries for 121 leading the way. Monroe rushing 46 attempts, 238 yards. 46 rushing attempts. Now here's Markham. Slips one tackle. Boy, look at him go. Gets a push from Kuster. And that turns into a first down carry for Markham.
Well, he's had a nice day. Moving those feet. Again, West Salem so cognizant about ripping the ball out that nobody made the tackle.
And look what Kuster did. Kuster made a block, and then he kept going and went downfield and helped Markham get another 5 yards.
Yeah.
There's his block. And there he goes.
And they pick up the first down because of that extra help from Kuster.
We're approaching the final minute of quarter number 3. Wicki will milk the clock. Now he'll hand to Hernandez, who picks his way for a good gain on second down.
And again, this offense just wears you down.
Yeah.
It's a constant pounding, and you would think they'll only run one more play the rest of the quarter and take a 21-point lead into the final 12 minutes.
Yeah. 8 yards for Hernandez on that last one to set up a 2nd and 2.
In fact, they may not run another play. They're all walking toward the sideline right now. And Monroe just methodically taking apart West Salem.
Monroe has just gone over the 300-yard mark in total yards today, and the Cheesemakers will take a big lead into the 4th quarter, looking for their first state football title since 1994. It's 28-7, Monroe through 3. Back to Camp Randall in a moment. The 2022 WIAA State Football Championships are brought to you by Quick Trip, your one-stop solution for all your essentials. Save big with quick hot savings from Quick Trip. And by Wisconsin Apprenticeship, brought to you by the Department of Workforce Development. Start of the 4th quarter, Division III championship. Monroe looking for their 6th state title. And they're 12 minutes away, they hope. 2nd and 10, Cheesemakers. Hernandez, big hole. Inside the 35. Trevor Arntz, Brett McConkey on the stop.
And we keep spitting out numbers about how much rushing yards they've got, and how they've owned the time of possession game. A lot of that just goes back to that big old Isaac Bunker, who won the Joe Thomas Award, the best offensive lineman in the state. He's just a big guy, and all that whole running game runs behind Bunker. You say a good athlete as he shows in wrestling and throwing the shot in the disc, but he's just a load up front. Everything runs through him for Monroe.
1st and 10, 35-yard line. Hernandez again to the 30. Al Minnert's joining us now from our coach's corner. And Al, this grounded pound, I mean, it just has to wear down a defense like West Salem.
Absolutely, just relentless. And again, like I mentioned before, such good play design. They know who they are. Their blocking schemes, a lot of down block, kick out, pullers. You know, they just do a really good job. And the deception, it's really a nightmare for if you're a linebacker or a safety trying to find the football.
Yeah. And Al, Monroe's longest run of the day is still only 15 yards, but they don't often get stopped for a loss or a yard.
No, they rarely have negative yardage plays, which is another really important piece.
Here's Markham. Bunker's blocking the way, and Markham
Well, you follow Brunker. There's not many people they're making the business decisions not to take that on, right?
You can see Bunker leading.
Very comforting run behind him.
Yeah, and he feels like he missed that block, right? Slammed his hands on his thighs. Like, oh, man, I should have got that guy.
And the quarterback's done a really nice job, you know, is kind of an unsung maestro here. You know, they've been pretty clean handling everything. He's managing they're waiting for the count in the back now. They're just bleeding clock.
Well, he could fake the daylights out of you sometimes,
right?
Yeah. This time it's a straight hand to Markham. We'll get to the 11.
But
boy, that clock.
Everything just complements everything. You know, one of their favorite plays is the fullback trap. And then they fake the fullback trap and pull the guards for the buck sweep. You know, and they've got just real nice diversity in the run game that attack all the holes along across the front. And I haven't seen them run option, but back in the days when we played against them, they would have every once in a while the quarterback run some option with this. Again, a lot of shifting and eye candy that you have to really be on your toes as far as adjusting to where everybody is.
2nd and 6 from the 12. Hernandez ripped up at the 9. Luke Noel with attack. And the funny thing is, Monroe's behind schedule on their rushing today. They average 397 yards a game. They're at 290 right now. So they've actually had a lot bigger games against different competition, granted. But boy, the numbers they put up have been unbelievable. As you said, from the open, over 5,000 rushing yards this season.
Breckwicki's been a good game manager now. Not only is he good at running this offense, but he's milking the clock very effectively.
Well, I'll bet you he tells everybody about that 42-yard pass the rest of his life. Here's Kuster. He'll get a first down. First and goal at the 5.
I wonder how many emails the wide receiver parents send about pass play recommendations.
Yeah, right?
There's got to be one of the kids standing next to Toby right now going, Coach, remember those pass plays we practiced all summer? Can we run one of them?
and they all come back to the huddle and say, I'm open. I'm open. Here we go, first and goal from the 5. Again, Hernandez is the guy that doesn't have a touchdown yet. 31. And here's the guy that has the touchdowns, Markham, and he's going to get another. That's the 3rd of the day for Markham.
Very impressive display, getting all those. Those guys are good coming off the ball, but getting out in front on these sweeps also. A lot of hard work goes into that. And again, the discipline, you saw him pull their hands off.
But he's had a big day.
Now the stats just caught up. That's 4 for Markham today, right?
You shorted your one.
Yeah. Oh, man. Here's Wes Saunders, who's had extra point practice today. And he's been on spot every time. 4 touchdown runs for Tucker Markham. Monroe, 35-7. Stay cheese. Gonna be a happy ride home back to Monroe tonight. The cheesemakers are rolling. A lot of those students weren't born the last time Monroe won a state football title. 1994 was the Division III championship for the Cheesemakers.
I'll probably find out that the fire department shows up to welcome the team back, though.
Right?
I don't want to put the onus on the Monroe Fire Department, but I got to think there'll be a celebration tonight.
Yeah. Toby Golembeski told us the other night that Monroe is a football town. We have a number of players whose dads played under Pat Martin, and most of the Monroe coaching staff has been a part of a state championship situation as well. So they look like they're going to be back on top in Division III. Here's the return. Kennedy Nice jukes by Brennan Kennedy. And that return gets him to the 31.
They just drive 63 yards in 10 plays for the knockout punch. It came after West Salem got close. They had their most sustained march of the day. Took 5 minutes off the clock, but had nothing to show for it. And then Monroe, I think, put the dagger on that last drive. Is now taking a lot out of the sails of West Salem.
Yeah, and you know, again, the rushing numbers are impressive, but Monroe's defense has done the job today too. West Salem came in averaging over 38 points a game. They only have 7 right now with 7:20 left, fourth quarter. Knoll still running hard. Markham with another tackle.
But conversely, I think it's maybe even more impressive that West Salem hadn't given up more than 14 points to anybody, and they've given up 5 touchdowns to Monroe today.
Markham with 4 touchdown runs. That was his 8th tackle of the day on defense. Another guy, a two-way player, having a big game here at Camp Randall. Knoll got 9 on that first down carry. This time they keep it and pass it to Calico. And good anticipation there by Caden Kuster, the defender for Monroe. But it is a first down for West Salem.
Calico's a baseball player. He's already committed to play baseball at Madison College next season.
That's an excellent program.
Yeah, Mike Davenport does a wonderful job. Calico will be a part of it.
Cheesemaker fans having a good old time at Camp Randall. Knoll stuffed. We're starting to see a couple of new numbers. James Seagreaves, well, he's actually one of the starters, but he was on the stop. As we wind under the 6-minute mark of the Division III championship game.
We've talked about how Monroe didn't throw the football much. West Salem hasn't thrown the football much today either, despite having to play for behind.
McConkey 6 of 14 for only 72 yards with the 2 interceptions.
Again, the wind has played havoc down the field, to be sure.
McConkey spreads everybody out this time. Steps up, fires, going long, has a man open. It's complete. That's Brennan Kennedy for a big gainer to the 15.
They go to the air there. Nice throw. Catch by Kennedy, the leading receiver on this team all season. McConkey airs it out. Nice grab by Kennedy, and Gatula probably saved the touchdown.
Timeout. Monroe. That's their first timeout of the second half.
So Monroe will try to stop the momentum with a timeout here, and we too will take a break from the action. Toby Golombesky's Monroe Cheesemakers leading 35-7. Well, Tucker Markham has been the story of this game for Monroe. 4 touchdown runs. He's also made 8 tackles on defense. Monroe as a team, 12 rushes of 10 or more yards, and 8 of those rushes by Tucker Markham.
Story of the first half. Salem turned the ball over 4 times and have played from behind ever since. Monroe 14 first quarter points, 28-7 or 21-7 lead at the half.
So West Salem knocking on the door of what they hope is their second score of the day. Knoll gets the pitch, and Lane Meyer drives him out of bounds after a short gain.
Knoll's slow to get up. He plays hard both ways. Been on the field all afternoon on this frosty day. You can see a little nicked up going back to huddle. Certainly Kennedy recognizes that.
Yeah, you can tell for a while. You can tell that he's been getting up slow and held his shoulder one time, and now he's just, as you say, trying to shake it up. But there he is. He's in the lineup, 2nd and 8 from the 13. McConkey to throw, a little slant, complete into the end zone. Touchdown, West Salem. That's Andy Johnson with his 5th TD catch of the year.
Nice ball by McConkey. Johnson had that drop earlier, makes up for it there with West Salem's 2nd score in the afternoon. But with only 5:08 left, they got a long way to go. Nice throw with the defender draped over him. Johnson gets the touchdown, and West Salem will go for 1 point after
looks like
their
it.
2nd score.
On the extra point attempt, that's, well, they're listed Jacob Helkinson as their extra point kicker. So it is good. McConkey now 8 of 16 for 128 yards passing for West Salem and that touchdown. And the extra point makes it 35-14.
Another look at their first score since the 2nd quarter. One of his better throws today. Put some juice on it over the middle. It had to be there with the defender right on Johnson. That was Caden Kuster who was the defender. You anticipate an onside kick here. Really, there's no other choice for West Salem. Down 3 scores with 5 minutes to go.
See all those West Salem fans wearing orange. Of course, orange and black, the school colors for West Salem, but also want to wish everybody luck and safety in the deer season. The gun deer season begins around the state tomorrow. Be safe.
Monroe's got 2 players deep. Otherwise, everybody is within 8 yards of the 50-yard line, anticipating the onside kick.
There's some very sure-handed folks lined up right at midfield for Monroe. You got it. And that sure-handed fellow grabs it. That is Drew Indergan.
Indergan's our leading receiver on this team with 8 catches, but he has been a factor in the secondary, and he made a big knockdown of a potential touchdown pass earlier in a nice defensive play. And there he recovers the fumble that may have sealed West Salem's fate.
So it's Monroe getting the ball at their own 47 with 5:07 left.
And I'll bet they keep it on the ground, Jay.
You think? Good call, bro. Here's Hernandez. Arndt and Logging tackling for West Salem. So it looks like Monroe's on the way to an undefeated season. They came in 13-0, champions of the Rock Valley Conference.
And when you hear the term ground and pound, go back and watch this game on Valley Sports next time it airs.
This will be the 60th play for the Monroe offense today. 3 passes. Just like Toby Golombeski hoped. I mean, this is how they've done it all year. And West Salem knew it was coming. Look at Hernandez. Can't tackle him. It's close to the 40.
Effective, though. Move the chains again.
Yeah. So Hernandez now 24 carries, 117 yards. Markham has 19 carries for 157 and 4 scores. Sweeney has a touchdown, 10 carries, 49 yards. That is depth.
Yeah, I can say you can't key on anybody because they'll throw the other guy at you.
Brookwicki looking at the back judge for the time for the play clock. Here's Kuster with a rare carry today. Kuster with a strong run. He's going to be just short of the first down marker, but he'll get 9. Oh, they will be a first down. Give him 10. Kuster's not a little fella either, 6'3".
No, and he lets you know it when he runs into you at the end of those carries.
3:15 left, fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're just milking the clock here. Just a matter of a couple minutes until the celebration will begin on the Monroe sidelines. Be interesting, really, to see if West Salem gets the ball back.
Yeah. Hernandez tripped up. Kellen Wright was there.
They haven't been able to stop this run game all day.
Yeah.
And again, it's a matter of they execute it to perfection. And those big guys up front, we talked about Bunker, but you can see some of his other mates there. 76 Nathaniel Baker, 62 Austin Fox. They deserve a lot of credit as well. 75 Taylor Herbst. They're the guys that open the holes for those headliners that Jay picked off that have had big afternoons here in the frosty surroundings of Camp Randall.
And the left tackle is Sean Roofnock as well. And there's old 75, Taylor Herbst. Yeah, there they are. Boy, that's quite a sight when you pan across like that. Bad news for the defense. Markham. Boy, he's thinking about 5 touchdowns today. He gets down to the 15.
Brett McConkey holding on for dear life. And again, unless West Salem's going to use their timeouts, this may be the last series of this game.
Most touchdowns in a Division III game. It's 4. Cornelius Whiteside, Wisconsin Lutheran, 05. Matt Kimmler, Sheboygan Falls, 2000. Rhodey Schneider, Slinger, 98. Nick Isaacson, Milton, 89.
So Markham's is a record-tying performance.
So far.
Good point.
This is Hernandez. That will milk more time off the clock, and as you say, I think this possession may.
Yeah, and they're West Salem now putting some upperclassmen in the game for the state tournament experience, and for their seniors to get a well-deserved round of applause from the West Salem fans on the far side.
Boy, how about the respectful handshakes there? I mean, these are long seasons. They start way back. There's Toby Golubeski. He knows where the camera is.
Yep. And the Monroe fans sensing they're going to be state champs again. Long time coming.
Sure is. Bruckwicki will take a knee, and that will do it. They won Division II titles in 1986, 1990, 91, and 92. They won Division III in 1994, and Monroe is the state Division III champion in 2022. Still 15 seconds to get off the clock, but the Cheesemakers, very worthy champions. They finished the year 14-0.
And they won the day with an exclamation mark. A dominant performance that maybe isn't even reflected on the scoreboard. They were very good at what they do, and that's ground and pound.
Well, they didn't just win today. They won every day this year in a lot of ways. They outgained West Salem 383 yards to 190, 341 of those yards on the ground. Their quarterback, George Bruckwicki, completed only 1 pass all day, but that was for 42 yards to Charlie Regal.
And aside from that 1-point win over Pewaukee in level 2 of the playoffs, this was the closest game Monroe played all season.
Wow.
And it wasn't real close statistically, as you just detailed.
We'll be talking with Tucker Markham, who had a big day on both sides of the ball. Markham with 8 tackles, a pass breakup, half a tackle for loss, and of course the 170 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. There's Bruckwicki, the orchestrator of the offense, the signal caller. And boy, there's no feeling like it. As much time and commitment as not only the players, but the families, the coaches. And when you reach the pinnacle like this after a long, long wait, it feels awfully good.
Especially in what the coach says is a football town.
Yeah.
You can call themselves Title Town once more.
Say cheese, everybody. Okay. Okay. So again, a great season for West Salem as well. Ends in a disappointing defeat here, but 12-2 is the final tabulation for their season. Justin Yane with a very good year, and Panthers with a conference championship out of the Cooley Conference. And tell you what, they ran into a buzzsaw, but what a year for West Salem as well.
Yeah, again, this is a team that hadn't allowed more than 14 points to anybody, and Monroe just dominated them in a big way. Monroe now singing the school song to their fans who are in full throat joining in.
Yeah.
Good to be a cheesemaker, Chase.
That's the fight song right there. And you talk about a town that appreciates a state championship run like this. That's Monroe. They have supported their, well, like you name the sport. Monroe has such a great fan following. And now we are ready to go just about as Tucker Markham is putting the headset on. He's going to join us for a couple of quick questions. Well, what a day, young man. Offense. What would you rather talk about, offense or defense?
I don't know, man. It was a great side of football for both parts of the team today. Let's go offense.
Okay, well, let's talk. Sean Rothnock, Isaac Bunker, Nate Baker, Austin Fox, Taylor Herbst. How about those guys?
Great job. I mean, they've done a great job all year. I mean, they're an amazing line. Great job for our running backs. And, I mean, the running backs, I mean, we get a whole bunch of credit, but it's really our line doing the work, pushing the guys up front. And, yeah, so much credit to them. They've done a great job all year.
You watch football on Saturday and Sunday, a lot of times it's the quarterbacks that get all the love. What's it like to play in this offense where the quarterback basically hands off to you guys?
I didn't really hear you there because the crowd just kind of went crazy. Can you repeat that?
No, just talking about, you know, the pros and the college, the quarterback's the centered game.
Yeah.
It's a game that's centered around you running back. It's got to be a good feeling.
Oh, yeah, it's a great feeling, you know, putting so much faith into our running backs and really making them the main part of our offense. You know, getting those rushing yards, getting into their end zone. It's really cool getting all the credit to the running backs and getting the job done, yeah.
Go get the trophy and tell everybody you tied a record with 4 touchdowns. Go get them.
I will. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Tucker Markham. And there it is. And boy, have you seen a happier coach than Toby Golomeski?
Yeah, he wears his heart in his sleeve. Long time coming.
Yep. But worth the wait. As Monroe continues the celebration, we'll take one final break in our Division III championship coverage. The Cheesemakers, 35-14 over West Salem. Monroe celebrating the title, 35-14. The 2022 WIA State Football Championships are brought to you by Rural Mutual Insurance. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. And by the Wisconsin DOT, buckle up, phone down, every trip, every time.
The Monroe Cheesemakers grabbed their 6th state championship in program history. They beat West Salem at 35-14 to cap a perfect season. They finish at 14-0. Shane Sparks alongside Al Minard. Al, all great teams have an identity. No question about it. Monroe has an identity, and they executed the game plan today.
Yeah, they played an outstanding game. It was very interesting sometimes what fuels the fire. I was talking with one of the coaches before the game. They mentioned that they felt they should have been here last year and won. As you know, they lost to Pewaukee. Had a very close game with Pewaukee this year to get here on the journey. And, you know, sometimes those losses and stumbling blocks along the way become fuel for fire that fueled this championship for them. Great team, great execution today.
Bill mentioned it in the broadcast. Ground and pound. I'd maybe call it death by 1,000 paper cuts. We saw Tucker Markham with 3 touchdowns, but they have so many guys that can hurt you.
Right.
But you know it's coming, and you still can't stop it.
No, and they just run their offense to perfection. They hit all the gaps along the way. Great deception, but the guys up front really knock people off the ball too. So, and their defense is highly underrated, but schematically what they do is really, really good, and their kids do a great job.
You got a quick thought on this Division II final with Kettle Moraine and West Appear?
Oh, two really good teams from great conferences, take a lot of pride in playing good football. So look for some good Rock'em Sock'em football here coming up.
That game will come up, but first let's go back to the booth. Our Division II player of the game.
And here is our player of the game, Shane, brought to you by Rural Mutual. Premiums paid here, stay here to keep Wisconsin strong. And no surprise, it is Tucker Markham.
Yeah, he ties the Division III championship record with those 4 touchdowns. 1 of 3 premier running backs behind a great offensive line. Alex Hernandez also had a big day. Keaton Sweeney with the touchdown, but Markham the star with the 4 scores. And we talked about it a lot. 2 stats, I guess. 1, the 4 turnovers in the first half, which allowed